Welcome to Ibiza, the playground for millionaires and billionaires, and the perfect backdrop to test something super expensive and special like this, the Maybach SL 680. Now, this isn't just another Maybach. In fact, it's a bit of history being reborn, because for the first time since the 1930s SW8, Maybach is giving another two-door. And this roadster is very, very special. Now, they've got a great foundation. They've taken the AMG SL63 as the base, so it's got the same 4.4 litre V8, but they have transformed it to give it unapologetic luxury. So how has Mercedes transformed a hardcore AMG sports car into what is possibly the ultimate luxury roadster? That's what we're going to find out. What defines Maybach is exclusivity, and this Maybach Roadster is super exclusive with only 3 units allocated for India. And at rupees 4.2 crores a piece, they are not cheap. So what does this exclusivity buy you? So what really stands out are these special exclusive Maybach colors. Now, this is a garnet red. In fact, it's been inspired by a pomegranate. They say it's a fantastic shade, really very, very special. And the talking point really is this bonnet. In fact, it's been called the SL680 monogram series because of the countless and dozens of monograms there are over here. You've got this kind of bonnet with dozens of Maybach logos on it, and it's got that kind of Louis Vuitton look like you have on a Louis Vuitton bag. And you know, all of us have questioned it. It's been a bit polarizing, but frankly, the people who can afford this car, and that's not us, they all love this. And Maybach said that a high percentage of owners want this, which means to say that you can even spec it as a plain black bonnet without the logos, but that isn't proving very popular. The rear taillights also have Maybach logos, and the chrome rear apron is Maybach specific too. The 21-inch alloys too come with exclusive designs. You can choose from a stunning multi-spoke pattern or a 5-spoke monoblock design that reeks class. Let's have a look at the cabin. So the interior, again, very special, but what's interesting to note that not much customization here, and you can only have it in white. I don't think that's a great idea for Indian conditions, but Maybach says this is the only color that really brings out the kind of luxury feel of the brand. This white, absolutely stark white color looks super cool, super rich, super luxurious. Again, two-tone steering wheel over here. Again, this kind of very intricate diamond pattern with the Maybach logo over here. The all-white cabin feels airy and indulgent. Add in soft Napa leather and those intricately patterned Maybach exclusive seats, and the luxury quotient just shoots up. What drags the luxury quotient down is that central touchscreen. It's a hand-me-down from the AMG SL, and you'll spot the same one even in a C-Class. A bespoke display would have made all the difference. Luckily, it's off-season in Ibiza, so there's very little traffic on the island, and that's just perfect for the SL680. It's compact enough to feel at home on these narrow and winding roads, yet powerful enough to thrill. Now this engine, it's the same 4-litre V8 as the SL63. That means 585 horsepower, 800 Newton meters of torque, and whoa, it definitely isn't a slouch, quite to the contrary. Incredibly fast, but it's just the way this car masks speed which is phenomenal. In fact, the calibration is completely different. The 9-speed torque converter, a lot more smoother, not as quick to upshift. Slightly leisurely shifts it has, really in keeping with the Maybach character, and that's had a knock on the 0 to 100 time, which is about half a second slower
than the SL63.
That's still a 0 to 100 time of 4.1 seconds and a top speed of 260 kph. But it's not these numbers that impress, but that velvety surge of power every time you press your right foot. But how does it sound?
This is one of the best sounding V8s. A little quieter over here, but you still have that delicious roar. And oh boy, this is just heaven.
The steering too is perfectly calibrated for a car like this.
What Mercedes has done, or Maybach has done, is kind of dial down the steering response. It's a slightly slower ratio, not as quick off center as the AMGs, and that's a good thing when you're cruising because car doesn't feel nervous.
The real revelation though isn't the speeds, it's the way this car glides. The Maybach SL 680's superb ride quality is the real headline act.
Now, off late, Mercedes, especially the AMGs, have become pretty hard-edged. They've actually lost that core strength of ride comfort, and it's great to see that that's come back with the Maybach in this SL 680. And honestly, I think for Indian roads, there isn't a more comfortable roadster. In fact, the suspension has really been worked on. The damping, the springs, even the bushes, they've all been changed or modified to offer a far plusher ride. Now you've got multiple driving modes. You've got Maybach mode, which is what you need for low pulse rate travel. But to be honest, I prefer sport mode because that gives you that little bit of sporty edge without really compromising on the ride comfort. And really, this car is all about wafting. It's not about carving corners. It's not about lap times on a racetrack. It's all about just glorious cruising. And this is the life on these wonderful roads, superbly paved, no traffic, fantastic setting, great weather. Yes, life is good. So now we've been driving with the hood down. That's the only thing to do when you have such gorgeous weather. But let's try it with the hood up. Now you can put the hood up to speeds of 50 k's. So that's quite convenient. You don't have to stop or really slow down. And the hood, it goes up in about 16, 17 seconds, which is not too bad. Wow, and the first thing you notice is how the sound is just completely cut off. This is seriously a very refined car. And in fact, Maybach has really worked hard on giving it that extra level of refinement. In fact, I'm told they've stuffed about 18 kilos of sound deadening material in this car. So you've got insulation in the doors, in the wheel wells, in the boot, all to cut out road noise, wind noise. And this car is just super silent, and refinement is something else.
So yes, the SL680 isn't your typical SL, and it's certainly not your typical Maybach either. What it is a unique fusion performance, top-down drama, and ultra-luxury craftsmanship. Sure, the all-white interior will be a nightmare to keep clean in our conditions, and the central touchscreen doesn't quite have the exclusivity you'd expect in a car wearing a Maybach badge. But beyond that, this is a grand tourer that delivers on presence, comfort, and sheer indulgence. It may be niche, but for those who want to make a statement in motion, few cars do it quite like this.